of this tutorial, and here we're going to start putting our functionalities with the visual scripting. So the first thing we want to do is to go ahead to create the UI. So I'm going to click here, and you can just go for user interface, and it will give you your control. So the control enables you to be able to overlay things on a screen. So I'm going to right click and add a simple text or label. So label is just used for writing things. I'm going to put money here because as you're collecting money, I want it to be showing. So I'm going to just drop it there, and I will call this my money label, and then call this my UI, and then duplicate this and call this my money, which is actually the 0. I'm going to put 0 on it for the meantime. Let me just select here and just put a sign there. You can select this and go over to label, here label settings, and you click on new label settings, open it up, and you can just go down to your fonts, and down here if you have a font you can put it here. You can just drag it from your file system and just drag it in here, but here we'll just you can just increase the size here. So you can just increase the size a bit, and the same thing is what we're going to do to this one. So I can just drop this here. So if you want to change the color, you can always change the color from here if you want to. So but we want this to be this way, so we want to just balance it in the center. So let's go on to save this file. I think it's almost in the center. So right now we're going to just save this, and for us to be able to work with it, we need to bring it into our main scene. So we're going to instantiate this into our main scene. I'm just going to instantiate and call this my UI, and I have my UI scene here. So we want to be able to have this and have access to it from here, so that when we start writing our code, we're going to put the code for updating this money. As you're collecting the money, you want to be able to have the value being updated. So now let's go into our landmine. So let's start with the landmine. So we want to work on a landmine so that it can know when something actually happens to it. So right now I'm going to right click here and I'm going to add a script. So let's go into our visual scripting. So I'm going to click here and add an orchestrator. So the orchestrator we're going to add here will be for the landmine. So I'm going to create a new one called the scripts. So I'm in my scripts now, so I'll call this landmine and just create. So this will be giving us the game over screen. So we're going to create some other things, but first let's start with this. So I'm going to click here. This is my area 3D, and area 3D senses when things are around it. If you look at the collision, whenever something passes through this, it's going to know. So I'm going to click on the area 3D and go over here and go to body entered, and I'll click on connect, and I'll connect to this landmine here. And if you go into your orchestrator, you see the code here now. So the first thing I want to do is to tell it check if it's in group. Okay, we're going to get this now. So we're going to check if it's in group, and then we're going to connect this. The target is actually the body, so we're going to be checking for the player group. Now let's go and create this player group right now. So I want to be doing this and be creating it immediately. So if you go into your robot, you see that you have your robot here. You can be able to create this over here, and also you can go to your main. You can even create it here if you want to. So depend on how you created your player. So I would like to create it on this particular. Okay, let me just create it from here, from this player here. So if I come in here, I can just select this and go over to my groups, and here I can click on the plus sign and put my player and make it to be seen globally. So make sure you just click OK, and you can always copy it to be sure in case you made a typographical error. You can just always go back and paste it here if you need to be sure. So right now, that's how you can be able to do that. So we can just save this robot and be sure we'll go into our main and be sure that it's actually reflecting there. So if you look at here, it's also reflecting here that it's in the group, in the node, is in the group player. So now that means that whenever this body is touched by anything and it checks if it's a player, now we're going to get a branch. You right click, get a branch, and we're going to connect this to this. So we're going to check if the branch. So if it's true, we need it to do something. So what we want it to do is to display the game over screen. We're not going to do any explosion right now. We'll just do game over screen for now. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get my scene, and the scene is going to be the scene tree. And the scene tree, we're going to add a particular scene here. So, but the scene we have not created yet. So we're just going to go ahead to create it. We want to be creating these things, together all at once to see how they are connected. So I'll click here and I will just create a very simple 2D scene and put color rect on it. So the color rect will just cover this place. And I'm going to change the color rect, the color to be, go back to the inspector, change it to, let's say, a red color, and then add together with it a label and call this my game over. Now we can work more on the game over later, but right now we just want to display it. So we're just going to drop this here and go ahead to save your work. So this is our game over. And just save this. You can always name here game over. So now let's go back to our script. We need to get a game over scene right now into this place. So I'm going to open my scene and get my game over. So you can just drag it from here and just drop it here. And you can use the get part, that's more effective. So once we get it, the next thing we want to get is to drag this from there. You must drag it from there and then type change. And you see change scene to file. So you just drag this into here. So make sure you drag it from here when you are typing that. If not, you're not going to see this feature. So drag it in here and drag this resource. What is going to be changing to the here, and then put this here. So if you want to play sound, even explosion, you can also put that, but we're not doing that right now. So we can just drop this here. So now this code, whenever the player touches it, is going to, give us this scene, and we're going to test it to be sure. So we'll have our money showing on the screen, and we can be able to move. And for whatever reason, we touch the landmine, it gives us our game over. So it's actually working very well. So what we need to do right now is, remember in the past system we have already added, in the former video, we already added a landmine collection. We'll have a landmine, and then we'll have the main landmine. You see the code has been added here automatically for it. So we just have about 2 of them that are here. So we're going to work on that. So the next thing we want to do is, let's go into for our money. So we want to be able to create the money. Let's go straight to the money. So for the money, we'll do the same thing. We're going to right click and add a script. I'm going to call it money, and then get this and we'll put this into the scripts and open this up and create. So once we create, we want to also attach the area 3D on this money. Go back to our node and go to our signals. Make sure you're not on groups any longer. Go back to signal, body entered, click on connect, and then we'll connect to this money. And so we'll have on area body entered. You can just leave it that way, but you can always change it if you think you have other codes that will enter into that place. So I'm going to click on connect, and I will go straight to my orchestrator, and I have the code here for my money. So for the money now, I need to make certain things possible. So first, let's start with the is in group. So let's start with is in group. So that means that if any other body touches it, it's not going to respond to that body. So I'm going to just drop this here, and we have already copied our player. We'll just paste it there, and then we'll right click again, do our branch, bring this in, and then put this. And then we need to now put up, the first thing we want to do is this. We want to be able to increase the value of the money. That's what we want to do. So the win will be when a particular amount is reached. So we're going to have maybe each suitcase of money will be, let's say, $1,000 or maybe $100. So maybe when we reach $1,000 completely, the game will be completed. So for us to do that, now we need to be able to create a particular this thing that we're going to be using. So whenever this happens, it's going to increase the value. So for us to do this efficiently, we need to do it from here. This you can actually do it from here, but I like doing it from here. So I'm going to go to my main and create a new script. Now don't get confused, we are still working here, but we want to get a particular variable that we are going to be increasing, which is the money variable. We don't want to create it here. So because we're going to be using it in the main. Okay, so that's the reason why we don't want to do that, so that we don't have some confusions later. So but let's go ahead to see if how we can be able to do that. So let's see, let's try out something here. So I'm going to go here, I'm just going to go over here and click on the variable. So I'm going to call this variable money. Okay, so this variable money, now I'm going to go to inspector and change it to an integer, and the value is 0, and I'll export it. So exporting means that it can be seen all over the entire scene, okay, the entire game. Okay, that's the idea. We want to be able to affect it from other places. So what we want to do right now is that whenever we do something, whenever this money is collected, we want it to increase the value of this money, okay, so that we can use this money to change some other thing later. That's the values there. So let's do it this way. So first, we're going to just drag this out, and you can just say set money. So we want to set the value of the money. So if you look at here now, whenever it touches the player, it checks. Then we just go and set the money. So we'll just drag this out again, and we can get the money. So we want to add, each time you get this, I want us to add about $100 to our the value. Okay, so I'm going to just right click, and I'm going to put addition. So go down to where you have integers, and you're going to drag this get money here, and you're going to put 100 here. I'm going to drag this backwards and just put this here. Now you might not be able to see this work until you do a particular thing. Now we'll need to see how this works by making it appear on this UI. So now I'm going to go to my main now and just see what we're going to do right now. So this is our UI here. This is our UI. So we want to be able to, whenever this happens, we want to be able to update the value from there. So let's see how that works. So now I'm going to go back into my orchestrator. I'm in my money code. Now this is my money value. So look at my UI in the main. So I right clicked and made it editable. So now I have my money label. Sorry, this should be not money label, but money counts. We need to correct it now so that we don't have issues later. So I'll right click on it and go to rename, call it money counter, save it, and let's go back to the main and be sure it has updated. Money counter, and here that's good. So now if I go back to my orchestrator, I want, whenever it increases this, I want just drag, you select this here. Now when you select this, you see the value over here in the label. Okay, you must do this. You must pass it through a variable. If not, it's not going to be updating automatically each time you do it. So I'm going to drag this out and drop this here and set the text. So put this here, drag this here, and then set the value that is going to be changing. So that means that each time you touch it, it's going to change to that. So let's save this, and now let's go into our 3D scene and find where our money is. Money is over here, so let's bring it a bit closer so that we don't have to walk for a long distance to test it. So I'm going to just drag it out. So that's the reason why we're using this, so that there's no code on it. So anywhere we drop it, this way is going to always be all the time. So I'm going to go ahead to play this game now. Let's see if it's going to work. So let's see how it works. So right now I can just move and let's start the money. So it gives us 100 immediately. So that's quite very cool. That's what we want. If you come back again, it's going to give you 200. If you go out again and come back, it's going to give you 300. So to do right now is that we want, whenever we collect this money, this box should disappear. You don't want it to continue being there always. So what we need to do right now is we're going to go back to Orchestrator, and whenever we increase this, we want to delete it. So I'm just going to do Q free. So look at that, the Q free there. So you just do Q free and you click on that. So let's go in and work on it. And boom, it takes it in and increases the value and deletes that particular one. All right, so now that we have this, it's working the way we want it. We can always add sounds later, but what we need now is to just go on to add the win screen. So the win screen will enable us to win the game. So we already have the major features we need in this game. So I'm going to go to my main and I'm going to add a win value. So when I right click and go to my attach script, so I have my main. So I'm going to click here, make sure it's in my scripts and open it up and create. So over here now, I need to make sure that the value, so I'm going to create a value called win. So this is the value I'm going to be changing whenever I want to change maybe a new level. I want you to get more money. I'll just come and change it from here. So I'll just come in here and go for integer, and I want you to get up to $1,000, okay, before you can be able to win this game. So now I can export it, but it's not so relevant here because we're going to be using it inside this code, but I will just export it in case I need it to appear somewhere else. So now I'm going to go over here and click and just type physics. So physics process, I need to do something. I'll say, so what I need right now is whenever it starts, it's going to check whether this particular the money that we have collected, if it's actually a particular value. So to do this, I need to go to my let's get our branch first. So we're going to check branch. So put our branch. So you're going to check if I'm going to check equals. So I'm going to get my equal. So I'll go and get to the integers. So we'll say equal integers. So I'm going to just drag it into this place. So now let's go and get the value. So we're going to say we'll have the win here. So we'll just drag this win. It's going to be checking whether the win, get the win, is equal to the money that we already have. So let's go check that money. So we'll go in here, click on this one on top where you have the code so that the money appears here for you. So go back to your code right now. And now you can just, as this is appearing here, just go and click on the main code, not the main scene, the main code. Now, whenever you do this, it's going to, most times it will disappear. Whenever it does, I just go back and click on the money again and click back here again. It will remain on the main. So this is just something you have to know. It's a bit tricky. So all you are trying to do is just to have access to this money to make sure that you are in your main code and at the same time in your money scene so that you can easily drag this from here and drop it into this place and get the value of the money and just check it here. So we are now checking whether the value of the win that's the win money, and the money you have gotten is actually the same. So remember the win is actually 1,000 while the money is 0 currently. So but as you are getting, it will be checking. So now we need to check it. If it's true, we're going to get our scene tree. So our scene tree now, we want to get a win. So let's go ahead and create a win screen. So to make things easy for me, I'll just go to my game over screen, right click on it and resave it again as my win screen. So I'm going to just do, call it win screen. So the game over screen is still there. I've I've saved it as a new thing, win screen now. Go into your 2D scene and just change this guy to U1. And I can change the color to, let's say, a bright color, like a blue color something. So you can always, do more designs here if you want to. So save it, and we can go back to our code now. Let's go back to our code, and then we need to drag this from here and just drag it in here and just do get path. So if you don't want to go there, you can always right click and type resource. So if you get your resource path, and you can always click here and then go and click over there and still find that particular scene you're looking for. So if you have a file system that is very huge and you can't find it directly from there, so that's another way of doing it. So but I always like dragging them out from here into this place. So now I need to drag, remember, drag from here and type change. So change scene to file. Now I'll just drag this, put this here, put this one there, put this one here, and then put this one there. So right now it's going to be changing. So now we need to, another thing we can also add to make sure it's going to be working well is instantiates. I forgot to add that in the last one. So this will make sure that instantiates it, and you can just drag this here and just put this here. Okay, but you see that you actually worked without it the last time. So I'm just going to go back to my landmine and also add that instantiate. I forgot that when I was doing this instantiate scene and just put that. So we also use these features when we are doing like spawning of characters to instantiate things. So save your work, and let's go back to, we already have a win, and we can just test this and be sure it's working. So we need to go here and increase this our money a bit so that we can just have, we want to test the win screen. So I'm just going to just quickly just do it this way so that you can easily get everything. We'll have 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me get all of them and just duplicate them and just push them out this place. So save it. So we're testing it now to be sure it's working. Later we'll now begin to make the game to look more difficult and playable so that it's quite enjoyable. We want to be able to create grasses so that when you're walking, you will be find it difficult to be able to see the money and also see the landmine. So you have to work with your light properly and watch out. Money littered everywhere. This is good. So let's go, and I'm just going to come up here, and you can always run if you want to. Pick up this, pick up that. So have this. So we have an error in our code. Whenever we do this, it's no more collecting. So we have to go and correct this error that we're having right now. So this is what I was talking about the last time. I was afraid this might just happen because the code is actually inside here. So one of the things that we could do to resolve this, so we had an issue here. So one of the things we could do to resolve this is we'll just come in here and we're going to change this. So this should not confuse you. I'm going to just remove this. From here, and I'm just going to do q delete directly. So it's going to be doing what it's doing already. So whenever this happens, if you touch this, call in group and then branch, and then it will just delete it. So I'm going to just go on to put this. Let's remove this code here, the whole money thing that we did. We're going to just remove it now, and even here we're going to delete it from here. So when we delete it, we need to go back to our, we're going to go back to our main scene, go to the code, and we're going to create that money inside here. So this is one of the problems we could have whenever you put this. They can malfunction. So I'm just going to put the money here and also put that integer and make it export to export. Okay. So right now I will get it into my money scene. So there I have the money there. So you can always click here, and we're going to get this value. So once you click on the money, click on this so you can have access to the money here. So once you go over to this place, I'm going to just drag the money out from here and just do the setting it again. Set the value. Now we're going to do the same thing we have done before. We're just changing the location of the variable. The variable was inside the money scene before, but we have transferred it to the main scene so that it can update properly. Because right now it's not working well with it inside the money scene. So right now I'm going to put this here. Right click again and put addition. So I'm redoing this so that you don't get confused. I know these things could be difficult sometimes. I'm going to just drop this here, put this here, and also still in this code I'm going to click here, go back to the orchestrator, and I'm going to this time around, you see I have this, I'm going to drag the money again, but this time around I'm going to get the value of the money and just drop this here. So I'm going to add it 100 and put this here. So the last thing we'll need to change is to make sure that the new one that we have, we already have this money that was from the other side. We're going to also change it. Just go over here and get the money and just drop it here, get money. So it's going to be checking for the win value and then the money. So this should be able to work. So now we are done with that. We need to update the new value, because right now the values are being checked here, but the values are being updated. The value of the money is updated from here, is increased from here. We need to be able to update it to our screen, our UI right now. So I'm going to do it from here. To do that, I need to click here, and I'm going to get another function called process. And once I get it, I'm going to get my money. So I'm going to drag this out, set it, and I will drag this out and get the value. So right now, if you get the value of the money, so whenever the money is increasing, whenever you touch the money, the code will make it disappear from the money side and then increase the value of the money. And this will inform this that it has been increase, and it will set it to the value, to the new value of money. When it sets it, we need to also go to our UI. So open our UI and then go to the money counter, click on it there and go into this inspector, drag this in and set it. So once we put this here and connect it, so this means that whenever the values are increasing, it will be updating on the, to be updating here. So that's what we need to do right now. So let's go ahead and check it. And so let's go in and see. Once we click, it increases. So we'll go on, increases and run, increases. So we can always get that. So we have 800, 900 and 1000, and we just won the game. So every code is actually working here now. The last thing we want to do is to add music in the background. Whenever we start this game, it's going to be playing music for us, and as it's playing the music, we also want to be able to pick up that money, and whenever we pick up the money, we want to have a sound play. So we're going to go to the main, and we're going to add a series of audios so that it can play directly from here, because one of the things I've realized about Godot is that most, especially if you're using visual scripting, the animations and the audios you want to play, it's best played from within the scene. So I'm going to just get an audio stream player. So I'm going to call this my collect. Clicks again. So once I drag it in, I will play it to be sure. And now to use it, I'm going to go to the orchestrator. Remember, I'm in this place. I'm going to click on the money here. And once I click on the money code here, I will just go and click on the collect money here. The collect money sound here. And get this and drop it in here. Set this. I'm going to connect this to here and give that space because I want it to play before it deletes it. And just put this here and just play. So let's do this. So if you move now, it picks it up, plays the sound. That's good. And I win the game. So let's play music in the background as we are playing this game. So you can just come up here, and I'm going to just duplicate this and call this my background music. And this should be a bit simple. I'm just going to make it in a very simple manner. And for this, I'm going to just get this. I think I have a sound here, just a music that I have here. This is just for testing it. I'm going to bring it down a bit. So you can always tell it to autoplay, and let's see if it's going to play for us. So the song is playing. But right now, I don't think I have my walk sounds. If not, I would have actually added that, or maybe we'll do that in another tutorial. So right now, the last thing we want to do is that we want to be able to create a splash screen and put the buttons that will be used in our scenes. So I'm just going to go to my win screen, and I can just put a button called play again. So I'll just go over here and add. I need to add a script here. Or before, sorry, I need to add a button here. That button will be just play again. So I can have play again. So put it in here, play again. And just click there, and it should be up here, bring it down. more control over your thing. So I have some UI designs I already have here. Let me go to my buttons here. I have my play button and my play. Let me see if I have a play game button. So I'll just use my play button and I can just drag it into this icon here. So once you put it here, you can delete this text now. And make sure you turn on this. If you look at this, you can always turn on this expand icon so you can expand the icon. And then click on this flat to remove that shadow effect that is there. So just drop this here. And I will duplicate this and put this. The next one will be quit button. I'll just drop it down there and we'll get a quit button. Let me see where my quit is. Exit. So I'm calling it exit here. So exit the game. So I'm going to call this exit. So you can either play again or exit. So to do that, I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to write a code, just a very simple code. Attach the script. So this is my windscreen script. Click here, go to my script and just open up here and create my windscreen. So once I do that, I would like to just copy these two guys. Let me see if I can copy them. Hope Godot has that feature now. Copy this and let me open my game over screen and paste. Let me see who's going to paste. Yeah, you pasted. So this is good. So I'm coming back to this one. So let me go back to here. I just want you to paste that before I start writing the code. So right now I have this code here. So I'm going to select this play again now. And I will tell it, go into my node, in my signal and say, whenever this button is pressed, connect it to my game over. I need you to go back to the main scene again. So once I do that, I will go in here. So I can just do the same thing for this one. Exit and press connect for the game over and then connect it to. So if you go to your orchestrator right now, you see both of them. So this one is for play again and this one is for the exit. So for the play again, we need it to switch back to the scene. So I'm going to put in my scene tree. And my scene tree, I'm going to drag in my main directly from here. Get path. Drag this here and say change. Change to file and drag this here, drag this in here, put this here, and lastly put your instantiate. And then for the exit, I'll just do the same scene again. But this time around, I'm just going to drag this out and put quits. So you have call quits there. And just put this on the target there. So the same thing is what we're going to do. Let's check it and be sure it's working. Play again and should switch to your game for you to start playing. So you have the game there. Under the moon, the warriors stand, pounding hearts with the... So it comes in here and you can just go on to exit your game. Let's see. Okay, we'll have a problem, and the problem is that because of the code that is on this thing. So one of the things we could do to solve this problem is that this thing has been coded already. So if you're using any other style of thing, this will work for you for the buttons. So I can just put a process here. This process, you can always do it from here, process. And I will just come in, get a sequence. And the first branch I'm going to get my first branch and get an action. So the action here, I'm going to put my enter key. So I will say when you press the enter key, which is accept, you should start the game. Okay, you should play a game. So I can just go and copy this guy here. But sometimes it gives issues when you copy codes. So I can just do my scene again fast and drag in my main and do my change scene. And put this here and put this one here. So this will be able to change the main scene and then instantiate. Then for the second one, I'm just going to do the same thing. Let me just copy this guy here and this duplicate it. So I'm going to use escape this time around. So if you look at cancel, that's escape on your keyboard, and just do quit. So this will also quit this for us. So this is another code we can use if our mouse is not appearing when we start the game. Because of the character I'm using, it removes the mouse whenever you're playing the video game. So right now what I need to do is just go on to the game over screen and do the same thing. So for the game over screen, I'm just going to right click and attach scripts, game over script, put that, and I can also create it. So you can always create the same thing again. Go into your node and then signals pressed, and then do the same thing. Get for edits, and then go to your node, signal pressed, connect it and exit. And lastly, you want to just bring them in here. And we're just going to do the same thing that we did, the scene tree, and then get the main here. So get this change scene, and then instantiate. And then duplicate this guy here and just do your quits on it. Whenever you press the exit button, it's going to quit. So the buttons are working very well. So we'll just have that. And then we can also do the same physics process that we did the last time, the physics process. And then in case we'll have this having issues, sequence, and then branch, and action. So we're going to do the same thing. So for this action will be also our enter key, and we want, whenever we do that, we want it to change to this scene. Also, you can duplicate, let's delete these ones. say whenever select these two, duplicate them too. So for the second sequence, we want whenever this happens, whenever you press your cancel, the same thing we have done before, that's what we're redoing again. We want you to quit. Just get your quit. Just drag it out and you have this option to get your quit. And just drop it in here. So, and lastly, we can just use this our windscreen to create a splash screen, and that will not be difficult at all because we already have all the codes in there. So I'm going to just put my start screen or splash screen, whatever you want to call it. Start screen. So we'll have this. So once we do the start screen, we can come up here and change it to start screen. And over here we're going to change the label to maybe call it dollar collector or whatever you want to call it, or dollar bots. I think I will call it dollar robots. Okay, so we can work more on this next time we want to fine tune it, but this is just a basic stuff I want to do. So we already have the, so you remember that you use your cancel. So if you have issues remembering it, you just remember that you can cancel your destiny with it. You can cancel, you can exit with your escape, and then you can play with your enter key. That's the thing there. You can write it out there. So you can always duplicate this and write it out and just say something like press, let me see, I think I need to change this. I hope it will not affect both of them. It's going to affect both of them. So we have to delete this and start a new one. So put a label, and this label we're going to say press escape to exit and enter key, press enter to play. So whenever you have issues, okay, so we can just put it somewhere down here. Just put it down there. You can increase this and just increase the style of it. You can change the color. Let's say we use a yellow color there. Okay, so we just have something like that. So we can always select this and go into other ones and just paste them inside there. Let's be sure we selected it properly. Go in here, paste. So we'll have that, and also open your windscreen and also paste it there. So make sure you've saved everything. Now the last thing you need to do is click here, and it's going to ask you for your main scene. So I'm going to say select a scene. So I want to select my start screen. That's where I want the game to start. So that means that whenever I click on my game from here now, I have a full game that is playable, and you can replay, and it's amazing. And you see you can have this. So after this, I'm going to go ahead to add some other features like the grasses and then make it more dense, but I'm not going to do it here. That will be so once you touch this, game over. So you see you cannot be able to have access to the buttons here now. So what you need to do is just press enter key. So that's what you can be able to do. So when you don't have access, so maybe in another video we'll try to resolve the whole problem with the game not being able to then we win. And you can also play again by enter if you want to. But if you don't want to play the game, we can always just click on exit and we can start another one. So let me just play the last one and just go over here and let's test the escape. So if you press escape on your keyboard, the game escapes. So if you like the video, please like this amazing video, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, get more people to subscribe. I need to get to 1K as soon as possible. And make sure you ask your questions and enjoy creating games with all the tools that you need from my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.